And welcome back to WCS Season 2 Finals. Almost time to get into Group D, not quite. We're going to recap Group C for you, so let's show you the bracket on exactly an extraordinary Group C, in fact. Choba, it was an incredible run-through of players. Tasia was just a monster.
Yeah, Tasia, monster describes it perfectly. Tasia took down Innovation after a monstrous game. I don't know, that's the first word that came to mind. I mean, I think anyone would agree in that 50-plus minute. But then he switches gears right away and analyzes Duck, says he's going for the early game. I'm just going to shut him down, win the game. And he said that in the interview. He said, I saw that nothing was in his base, and I knew the game was mine.
Absolutely. Let's show you those brackets just to confirm. Group C, Tasia going through to the quarterfinals, becomes our third member of the quarterfinal club today. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be playing all of the lower bracket games, so that final matchup, it'll be tomorrow. We still don't know who is going through to play in that game. That's still going on Stream 2 right now. You can check that out at starcraft2.com/WCS. Meanwhile, here on the stage, we're going to get into Group D. As you can see, the crowd are enjoying themselves here at Gamescom. Well done, everyone. It's been a long day and you've done a lot of great things to support the players. So well done, everyone. Okay, let's check out the bracket for Group D. This is how they're matching up. And this, again, is a tricky old group. This is the group that has Alive in it, it has Scarlett in it, it has MMA in it, and then Maru, the champion of Korea for WCS Season 2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, Maru, that's another surprise as well. I don't think many people would have expected Maru to be at the top of this group when, WCS Season 2 started regionally. Everyone said Maru had potential. Maru was always that guy, has potential. When is it going to show? Well, here we go. He 4-0s Innovation, beats down Rain in the finals, and now he's here. And this is the true test. Can you really stand up to the global challenge and claim your title?
Yeah, well, we're about to find out. Not so much in this match, but let's check out all four players that play in Group D. It's a very mixed group, of course. We have one foreigner in there, which we're sort of, I think they're rooting for locally. Let's throw that up on your screen right now to show you all four players from Group D. There we go. And as you can see, all with their ranks in there right now. And rank 10 for Maru right now, so he's in that top 16, which is what we've been talking about. It's the most important thing for the end of year. MMA down in 24th, Scarlett in 23rd, and Alive, he's picked up a whole host of points from Season 1, of course, and again here in Season 2. He's currently ranked in 7th place. So it's not just about the prize money, it's not just about the trophy, it's also about those valuable WCS points for the end of the season BlizzCon final.
Yeah, and winning a season final means a lot. Look at Innovation, right? He might have faltered a little bit, but he's still way up there in WCS points. So this means a lot, especially for players who it's their first time actually getting their foot in the door for this WCS.
Yeah, you can check all the points out on starcraft2.com as well. Just go and click on the rankings and you'll see the whole rankings. You'll see that Innovation is still a couple of thousand points ahead. But his lead might be trimmed here because we might have a couple of challenges. Tasia has certainly stepped up to the plate. It's time for our last games of the evening. The first game is from Group D. Let's introduce you to the players.
All right, the first player we're going to be meeting. Now it's going to be a team match between these two players. And first up, we're going to invite none other than Acer MMA to the stage.
And as Choba rightly pointed out, this is an all-team Acer matchup. Part of the winning team, of course. Against MMA, the triple champion, goes his teammate. She's made her way all the way through the North American qualifiers and doing a fantastic job as one of the few Zergs left in the competition. Please make some noise for Acer Scarlett! Fantastic. It was actually MMA giving directions out as to where she should stand there. Brilliant. Okay, we're ready here for the matchup between Scarlett and MMA. Who is going through to that winners final? We're about to find out. Let's go over to our commentary team for this second to last game of the evening. Take it away, guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Red Eye and Shobra. I'm very excited about this match, but first I think we should probably let you guys know something.
So Innovation and Naniwa were playing right now, as in during this introduction. Naniwa beat Innovation 2-0. Innovation is knocked out of WCS. Naniwa continues to fight on tomorrow. A crazy result there. That's big for Naniwa.
No one really expected that, but Naniwa moves on, and
yeah,
we'll see how he can do against Duck Duck the next time.
That's right. They've played a lot. They played in the Premier League. They played earlier on. They have a rematch tomorrow. But now to focus on Group D. What a game we have here at the start of Group D.
Well, certainly. This is going to be absolutely amazing. Listen, Scarlett, even before Stefano retired, people were starting to say Scarlett is the best foreigner. Yeah, Nanawa's up there too, but Scarlett, there's arguments for her. She is ridiculously good. And I think there's a chance that she'll kill MMA here.
There's a big chance of that here. Both of them are on the same team. They know each other's style inside out. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. I think a lot of mind games will happen. They know how each other play, and that really will impact their decisions, their strategies throughout this series.
That's a huge part of it, I think, Apollo. And you know, it's kind of funny because they're opposites in some ways. Like, for instance, Scarlett spends a lot of her time in Korea. She flies over, trains there a lot, gets really good. In fact, recently got as high as top 16, I believe it was, on the GM ladder in Korea, which is absolutely out of this world. Whereas MMA has been flying over to Europe a little bit more and playing in Europe a bit more.
He has, and he's been doing well, getting to the semi-finals of the Europe Premier League. A great result for him, but MMA, let's just talk a little bit about it as the videos do happen on our screen right now. He's not the same person he used to be, but at the end of it all, he's coming back. He's getting results again, Autosis. He's becoming a stronger player again, like he used to be. He's not there yet.
Yeah.
He's not there yet, but he's getting back to where he used to be.
He truly is. He's performing better and better and better. I gotta say, that Acer team, man, is one scary team. And you know, we were just talking with Cell a little bit, and you know, he's sad that his two players have to play, but you gotta look at the bright side. One of these two are gonna go up to that winner's match. So,
and one of them has a very high chance to make it through. But remember, this is Group D, and there's other players within Group D. One player that you know very well, of course, casting him not so long ago, it's of course Maru, the Korean #1 at this moment.
That's right. He is the champion of the hardest region overall, but you know what? It doesn't matter what region you're from at this season finals. We've had some of the best play of the day come from the North American region.
That's right, and the North American region's, it's a strong region to be a part of at the moment, and Scarlett's one of those players that made her way through.
Yeah.
Playing very, very well, getting a semi-final finish there, getting top 4. But here is the group where I think that she goes through.
She very well may.
Very high chances.
ZVT is really out of this world. It's super strong. She does a lot of different types of styles, and you know, I think that she might be able to catch MMA off guard a little bit and maybe knock him down.
Well, there, as you can see, the results and the stats for Scarlett across her entire WCS run so far. This is including Premier League Challenger, Tier 1 and Tier 2 events. It's a pretty decent setup. Pretty decent setup. Well, and, a lot of people supporting her today.
Indeed. One of the only 2 hopes remaining, really.
That's right, and she goes head-to-head against a teammate, a friend, but today an enemy in the likes of MMA. And this guy is a previous champion. At one point in his career, he was regarded as the #1. The #1 player.
That is true. This is a guy with a couple GSL victories under his belt. That's not many people can say that. And you know, he's been playing a lot better recently, and in fact, Scarlett herself tweeted, I've seen it, just lots of praise for this guy and how good he truly is in practice. That scares me, though, for her a little bit, because if you respect a player too much, if you really think that they're great, that can affect how well you play against them.
And his win rate there against Zerg, as we saw, 79% across his WCS stats so far, an incredibly high result, and we've seen it in the Premier League in Europe. He's dominated. He looked, you know, a smaller image of who he used to be. Drops all over the place, fantastic macro behind it, and we'll see what he can bring to the table here, because you mentioned it earlier, Scarlett has a little bit of a different style to most Zergs when she approaches to play this matchup.
Yeah, she can be very aggressive. She has all sorts of different Roach Bane timings. She can play the long macro game as well. Yeah. Absolutely. I've seen Scarlett do that in the past. So, you know, she's even, if you look at her actual list of games that she has played for ZVT, she's a Korean killer. She almost never even plays against foreign Terrans, and when she does, she generally just crushes them. So, yeah, she may have what it takes here.
I think one unit that MMA must focus on, and it's very simple, I think it's the Marauder because of what you just said. Yeah. The amount of Roaches and Roach different types of plays that come out from Scarlett could be a little bit difficult for MMA to deal with, especially against his style, who is, as we all know, very aggressive, likes to use medivacs, likes to have units not at home defending, and a lot of Roach timings do punish this style very well.
That's right. Some of those later ones could be fantastic. Well, we are loading the game up. The first map going to be Star Station. We'll talk about that in a minute, Apollo.
That's right. I'm excited for this. The last group of the day. It's been a long day. There's been a lot of awesome games, but it is not over yet. The WCS Day 1 is near completion, but not over yet, as we are ready to start the first game of Group D up here in the top left, spawning as the red Zerg. It is Acer Scarlett. Appreciating those lights.
Yes, lights catching her off guard there for a moment. And then in the bottom right, let's see if we can catch him off guard with the lights as well. Give it up for Acer's MMA. Nope, not phased.
Doesn't care.
Does not care at all.
All right, we like to do this a lot though. Who do you think's going to win this one? Who do you think's going to win this game?
It's a very hard one for me. It truly is. You know what? I'm going to go MMA 2-1 really close series. Really close.
I think a really close series as well. I completely agree with that.
But who will win?
I didn't want to agree with that one, but you caught me there.
Yeah?
I think
you just take off your headset and leave now if you want.
Or you Scarlett wins.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, very well could be. We'll see. I'm kind of hoping for Scarlett to win. As much as I'd love to see MMA's full return to form, you know, if Scarlett can continue to move forward, that's good for everybody, except MMA.
Except MMA. But MMA, of course, there's double chances. There's 2 slots in Group D.
That's true.
We've already seen, you know, Innovation be knocked out already of the WCS Season 2 finals. He was the reigning champion of Season 1 coming into Season 2, and he's already gone, so anything is possible, despite everyone expecting Maru, who just recently won the Korea region, to, you know, advance through as one of the 2. It's not 100% sure.
Certainly not. Right now we do have the command center first coming down into 1 barracks and gas. So just going to be teching up pretty quickly here is MMA, very standard. As far as Scarlett goes, just expansion into a spawning pool. Nothing out of the ordinary yet.
This is a really nice map for Scarlett to use Roaches in an aggressive manner. Star Station, a map which is very wide open for the third base to be defended by MMA, and that's going to be, it has to be a focus of MMA to make sure he can identify as early as possible what type of units is he playing against, because it really does take 2 different types of reactions once he finds out which it is.
Well, hopefully he'll get a lot of good scouting done here. And, you know, I think he's probably just going to open up straight into Hellions and do a little bit of harassment with that. And that'll give him some sense of what's going on at least. And, you know, the thing is, I don't think Scarlett's going to do anything early. If she does any of these Roach-type timings, I think it's going to be a little bit later, maybe even after layer.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be early either, unless it wouldn't be game 1, that's for sure. Yeah. It's a game 3 type of move, I think, from Scarlett. But we'll see what happens here. I really believe, is what you said earlier as well, is that MMA will play a very normal game here. I expect 3 command centers. I expect double engineering bay. I expect all of this. But one thing to note, he's already taken a second gas. And this isn't that common, that often here. It used to be when Hellbats were used, but with a second gas here, he may go over to Hellion Banshee, a kind of strategy which is older, but kind of being used a little bit again.
you know, Hellion Banshee has had a little bit of a resurgence, and part of that is because, well, Banshees are going to do very well against anyone that's trying to go Roach Baneling. You know, you're going to really put a clock on them. The Hellions are going to help you to kite them a little bit as well. It'd be kind of cool to see him do that.
But look at this. An armory is indeed coming down. Despite this not being in fashion at the moment, after the Hellbat change, it's coming down here.
Looks like it's going to be a Hellbat drop. And you know what? A Hellbat drop is still a very powerful thing indeed, but will it be a Blue Flame Hellbat drop? Could this?
It has to be. I mean, no, it has to be not Blue Flame, sorry. I don't think there's any time to even get close to it.
It doesn't look like it. Like, could this be, because the thing is, Hellbats are still really good against Zerglings. Could this end up being something such as the Hellbat pressure drop, where you're just kind of like flying around with it, threatening to drop, making them make units, making them stay at home, into something like, let's say, well, never mind, because I see a third command center starting, so I don't even have to finish that thought.
But I think one thing to add to your thoughts is that a lot of Zerg players do not get the Roach Warren as much anymore, since Hellbats are not used that often. And these Hellions go in, they see the double evolution gems, they do not see a Roach Warren, and scouting information is just as important as these kills right now, which is going to get one drone, and second one does go down as well here, and a third. A nice round there, but still quite a few drones go down for MMA. That's a nice pickup, 5 drones.
Yeah, that was nice, because that wasn't just primarily to kill drones. You don't make 3 Hellions say, I'm going to run up the ramp into the main base and kill 5 drones. But that's a nice little bonus, and you know what? The Hellbats are still going to do a good job, because, as you said, no Roach Warren, which means it's really up to the Queens to defend.
And I really think we're seeing this Hellbat drop, I think more so than anything else, is the MMA knows Scarlett, and one of those things may be just the fact that we don't see Roach Warrens from her recently, and I think this is probably why this build has been used here by MMA. Well, falling back onto 3 command centers, double engineering bay, it's got the perfect follow-up to it.
Yes, it certainly does, and you know what? Scarlett, I think, is going to be in some trouble. She's making mostly just slings right now. They do have speed, which is nice, but Hellbats are going to roast them, especially 4 with Medivacs there.
Well, let's have a look how much damage can be dealt. There's not too many drones on the third base, so he's going to have to go into the main base here. MMA looking for damage. Nothing really done yet. He's going to get a couple of Zergling kills, but this isn't really what he wants to be killing at this point.
Well, luckily the Queens actually zoned out those Medivacs a bit, so he was able to kill off a few Zerglings, but not really that much.
Not that much at all. He definitely wanted more drone kills here than anything else.
That wasn't really the most effective. I thought for sure that would do a little bit better than what we just saw there. Scarlett really deflected that very well.
Yeah, that was a good defense there by Scarlett, and I'm pretty sure that MMA shares what you were saying and thinking that he should have been able to do more.
And now when I look at it, because before I was like, oh, this is kind of cool for MMA. Look at this upgrade differential. 1-1 is almost done for Scarlett, whereas MMA, just starting 1-1, just starting Stim.
Yeah.
He has nothing he can do for a very long time, and well, that's why he's getting some siege tanks, because he's going to have to turtle for a while.
Yeah, and especially if I don't think he knows 100% sure what he's playing against, whether it be Zergling only or Roaches later. So the siege tank there is going to offer him a good all-round set to defend against anything that's incoming.
Well, Baneling speed is on the way, and that makes me a little bit scared. That is a pretty quick Baneling speed considering the circumstances, but that's never a bad thing. Baneling speed is going to keep you safe and give Scarlett aggressive options that she may want to take if she sees MMA get out of line at all.
A scan coming down here for MMA inside the, or in between the third and the natural, just looking what units he sees. Upon seeing the Baneling nest here, I'm quite sure he's starting to identify what he's playing against. But with the second factory, this is very different to what we usually see when it comes to Widow Mines over tanks and vice versa.
Do you think he's trying to catch up on the Widow Mine count that he feels like he should have, or is this actually going to be a lot of siege tanks?
I think this is a lot of siege tanks.
So he's going to play Wings of Liberty against Scarlett?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see how that works out for him. But, you know, Mutiling Bane is going to, in my opinion, match up very nicely against someone that's making a lot of siege tanks.
Well, we'll see how this is going to fare for MMA if you think so. As the 10 Mulus are coming out, this Viking's done a pretty good job. It's got quite a few kills already. Well, just one. It's going to pick up a couple more here, hopefully.
The Overseer's coming to protect it and realize they have no attack or way to protect it, so fly out of there. And, oh, look at that. Drilling Claw's still being gotten, even though more siege tanks. So it looks like it's going to be siege tank, Widow Mine, Marine Marauder, Medevac. It's a lot of things to be producing at once. And a Hellbat, don't forget.
Is it good to be switching up, you think? I mean, it looks like he's stopping his tank production now at 3 after knowing exactly kind of what he's playing against. Oh, hold that thought.
Oh.
Good reaction time from MMA. Really solid reaction time there.
That was a slight risk that we saw from Scarlett that had a possible huge roar that she just didn't happen to hit. But back to what you were saying, Apollo, about switching it up into the Widow Mines. You know, if you use Widow Mines and Siege Tanks together, they actually complement each other pretty well against Zerg. You know, one you're supposed to charge your whole army in, another you're supposed to charge just a little piece. So it gives the Zerg a lot of hard choices to make.
Well, at this point in the game, I still think Scarlett carries a bit of a lead going into this after the Hellbats did set MMA back quite a bit. 90 harvesters, 90 drones that is, versus 68. But no infestation pit yet, no look towards going to Hive here.
Well, she's making a lot more mutas right now, so it may just be one of those games. Look at the creep spread right now, Apollo. Probably the best creep spread we've seen today. In fact, I know it is. She's going to have a huge amount of map control with this many mutas and how late that Hive is.
Unfortunately for MMA, due to throwing a lot of resources into the Hellbats, look how far his 2-2 is away. I mean, it's what, 30-40% here, and Scarlett gets into the mineral line. No turrets, SCVs are falling, finding a weakness here of MMA, and I can't help but feel that MMA is playing scared against Scarlett. Very cautious with his build, his choice of units. Scarlett is just destroying him here with a 30 supply lead, 21 SCVs going down.
You know what? Scarlett's playing like pretty much a standard game here, and MMA, I don't know, he seems a bit impotent against it. He's not really defending anything well, and oh, that's a lot of Banelings, Apollo.
All right, if he's somehow able to connect onto this third command center,
that's a kill right there.
That's an instant
And even if
kill.
half of them connect, you know, the mutas will probably finish off in a matter of seconds, but well, we'll see. Scarlett going back to try to defend her 5th base. In the meantime, MMA also dropping in the main. Doesn't look like it's going to do that much damage, though.
No, not going to do too much damage here at all. So both drops that MMA's kind of only attempt throughout the entire game to do anything here. He tried the Hellbats, it didn't do anything. These drops didn't do anything either. And Scarlett, untouched throughout this entire game, is set up so beautifully as she prepares to defend her 4th base while going over to Hive. Well, I'm sure we'll see the Ultralis cavern come down eventually.
I think that's a really great choice for this situation, but hold on, the Widow Mine's actually burrowing. Oh, not as good as it could have been. And this is, a nice Widow Mine connection right there, but still a ton of Banelings rolling in. MMA does take a supply lead here, but this is a very scary army.
There's so many Banelings here, and there's really not much protection until they get back to the tank line here, and the Marines are trying to run back, but there are so many Marines dying here, which are going to allow the Mutalisks to come in and pick off a single tank. They're going to get a second tank as well here, and just loose units here by MMA getting torn down, as well as, by looks of it, another SCV or two.
The Mutalist just going absolutely to town here. Look at that, 27 workers killed at this point, but MMA, he is counter-dropping during all this, and this is really one of his strengths, to be able to do so many things at once.
The supply is relatively equal here, but we do have 3-3 on the way now for Scarlett. Not quite in there for MMA, who is still looking for some kind of blow. He's tickling the 5th base, but that's not really going to get him to where he needs to be at this point.
And the thing is, when you're on 3 bases as Terran, you need to hold the Zerg to 4, because when they have 5, they can do things like throw down this Ultralis Cavern, get 3-3, keep the Baneling count up, continue upgrading Mutalisks.
Well, MMA is going to try and take his 4th base at this point. Still, I feel he's playing a little bit from behind here, as Scarlett gears towards an assault on this right-hand side upon finding this command center.
Well, she's going to draw him back over. The Widow Mine not really doing that much yet, but a lot of Marines in here now. Uh-oh, here come the Banelings, Apollo.
Oh, here come the Banelings. Scarlett's going to come in, and well, it's a pretty good setup from MMA, but all the numbers here, because that is a lot of Banelings, and things are just dying.
They certainly are, and look at that. A lot of Widow Mines get taken out as well.
And the command center.
GG. Whoa. Some fantastic play from Scarlett. There was nothing fancy there, nothing special. Well, special in the fact that it was really good, but MMA just kind of fell apart and died.
It was just so solid from Scarlett. Yeah. Minimal mistakes, crucial defense, excellent execution on what she wanted to do in this game. And just looked like one player absolutely smashing the other, and MMA needs to change it up. He needs to step it up more than just a single gear if he wants to keep alive in this best of 3.
He's certainly going to have to. Looks like, by the way, that Coach Sella chose sides there in Scarlett's booth, despite the fact that she won. This is crazy. I'm really surprised it was so one-sided there.
I'm not sure if that was a phone number or a strategy, Artosis.
I think it was actually some Korean words. I couldn't quite get it in time, though.
My eyes are great.
I can tell. Well, next map, Newkirk Precinct. What do you think?
Tap on the head there. I don't think much about it at all, actually. I'm trying to think something about this map, but all I see right now is Scarlett not even messing around with things, not playing too fancy, no roach play, no roach baiting play, just a normal game, and MMA just getting shut down very easily, who I think was expecting a lot different of a style in this game.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what to think for Scarlett coming into this next map. I would say even play the same again, and if it didn't work, then switch it up a little bit. But for MMA, I think he just needs to be so much more decisive with his play.
Yeah.
I felt he was just spreading himself too thin, thinking too much, overthinking to a certain extent.
I think it may have freaked him out when his Hellbats did nothing at all. When Scarlett just happened to have enough Zerglings, had the queens in position, and just nothing happened at all for him. And, that's a big investment. He skipped out on his upgrades, made those very late, even got stim extremely late, and did 0 damage with all those Hellbats. So I think it may have gotten to him, but I think he can calm down here and show us a much better game this time.
Well, we'll see if that can be the case here. He needs it to be the case, because going down into the losers match is not going to be easy. To rise back up again would, of course, have to play, depending on who loses, a TVT, no matter what it was. And then we'd have to move back up into the higher ranks and play tomorrow. But right now, Ace Scarlett is the one leading, and I think we can all say quite convincingly, it seemed easy.
Yeah, it did, but she does seem a bit nervous here. Trying to stay focused, trying to stay calm. Your heart certainly gets a beat when you beat MMA on stage in the biggest tournament of your career.
But as long as she stays calm, keeps going, then I think good things are going to come her way.
Well, we will see about that. Just waiting on Scarlett being ready here. And, all right, imagine if she took first place in the group, because so far the foreigners haven't been doing that well. Well, that's a lie. Nanoa is doing fantastically so far.
Yeah, great win there.
But
no first places.
Innovation didn't win the last WCS Korea. It was Maru who's in this group, who, if she wins again, she very well may have to go fight next.
Yeah, they are playing that on the other stream. So if you do want to watch that, do go over to the other stream, the other WCS stream that is you can find out all the details at starcraft2.com/WCS. I think if Scarlett was to be able to close out this series 2-0, I would expect nothing less than a Scarlett Morrow game for the winners match to decide who is first place, Artosis.
Yeah, I think that Alive is a huge underdog, despite being such a great player with so many finishes and even a big win under his belt. I think he's a big underdog in this group.
Would you say this is the biggest stage that Scarlett's played on, with expectations behind her?
Yes, with expectations behind her for sure, I would say. And that is saying a lot. There's a lot of pressure on her right here. She knows that already 2 foreigners have fallen. She knows that Nanoa's in a very tough group, may not make it out. That leaves a lot of people's hopes and dreams on her.
Well, apparently in the chat I was just reading that Scarlett said that her shaking after that victory needed a minute just to, calm down a little bit with her hands so she can get ready to play the next game when it is about to start. Newkirk's the second map between these two players, fighting just for the first setup, their first game in this group, to be able to decide who moves on to the winners match to get the opportunity to move in to the quarterfinals being played out tomorrow afternoon here at the World Championship Series. Season 2 finals, a great day so far, a fantastic day so far.
Amazing games everywhere, even the one-sided ones have been entertaining. And, that was actually one of the one-sided ones, and I was certainly entertained. Just solid macro play.
As long as Scarlett can continue these performances, she likewise could do well as her other Zerg in this tournament, in the likes of Jaedong, who went through in first place in Group A earlier on today. We'll see if Scarlett can continue to perform well, because MMA is in her way here. coming onto this next map on Newkirk. And if Scarlett continues to play the way she just did, I cannot see this being anything other than a 2-0.
Well, I think it's up to MMA to play better. You know, I think Scarlett can keep up her level, but MMA certainly has to improve his.
All right, so we are now ready for the next map between Acer Scarlett here and Acer MMA. A little bit of downtime there in between the maps, but now we are set up to go into map number 2. And down here is the red Zerg. Please make some noise for Acer Scarlett.
I think the lights got her once again there.
Definitely.
Down in the bottom right, he needs your support. Make some noise for Acer's MMA.
As much as we look at MMA and say, yes, he's making a comeback with games, he's taking random team league games against some really good players, but overall, a lot of his success is based on the Europe Premier League.
Yeah.
And the players he's beating, yes, they're good players, but in MMA's prime, they weren't even considered contenders to MMA.
This is truth. MMA was amongst the very best. You know, he was absolutely top two Terran in the world for a very long time with MVP. A contender in every term he went into, but he had that big down streak. You know what? He's fighting back. I think he's got a really healthy mentality at this point, and he's doing well, but if he falls here 0-2 in this same manner as the first game, I have to question that and say, well, how well is MMA truly playing?
And how long does it take to return back to what he was, and if he can ever return back
to what he was? I think StarCraft 2 at this point is so hard that it's going to be very rare to have a player that can do something like win 2 championships in Korea.
Only a select few can even get close to doing that, Autosis.
That is the case. Well, we do have a Reaper opening this time. What do you think about this decision?
I like a Reaper opening. I actually sometimes even prefer it over going Command Center first here. I like just to be out, especially in MMA shoes, who is much more a hands-on approach, kind of get his hands dirty a little bit and just get involved early on, take map control early on, kind of dictate the pace of the game a little bit. The Reaper can go in, can put a bit of pressure on Scarlett, can get some vital, crucial scouting information, and just kind of not sit back and allow the game to unfold without having any impact on the decisions on how it does.
It's all good points. I also like the fact that if you open up Reaper, early all-ins, early cheeses from the Zerg player really don't work as well. Because the Reaper may at any time jump in. It makes it really risky for the Zerg to try something like that. So, you know, it's a pretty safe build, and as you said, you know, it at least lets him have some say on what's going on.
I really feel in this game, though, Autosis, that MMA will avoid Hellbats.
Yes, I agree with you there. If he goes Reaper into Hellbat drop, I'll be very surprised indeed.
Yeah, this definitely feels more so a very normal playstyle coming from him. Whether it be the 3rd command center coming down before any additional barracks and engineering bays and so on, very early on to really power him through to the mid stages, because that's where MMA is going to be in his element. The majority of games are won when he gets past this early stage and gets to that mid level where he can really utilize Medivacs and his speed, most importantly.
Very true. He really does need to be dropping all over the place, but not from a deficit like we saw before. Now he is adding another command center, so very quick 3rd CC. He's going to probably make at least 4 Hellions, maybe even more because of how quick the CC was, but he needs to keep tabs on what Scarlett's up to. He needs to keep the creep spread down, delay bases, and basically just make sure he doesn't die.
You know, he started to spot the queens, the count. He should be able to realize this is 4 queens now, or having 2 and a 3rd one on the natural, because he's clearly got to have 1 inside the main base here. And knowing that it's playing against 4 queens is very different to playing versus 3, because the gases are down faster if it's 3, which means the likelihood of aggression is much higher than it is currently here for MMA.
That is quite true, and I'm sure he is taking that all into consideration. It's really important for him to know how likely it is for Scarlett to get aggressive, because if she does, with a 3 command center build and so few units out, he could take massive damage from it.
Well, MMA is going to try and keep this small contain on outside the natural for a little bit here, with Reapers joining forces with Hellions. Good creep denial. Could potentially pick up a queen here if Scarlett was a little bit unfortunate. Has to be very careful.
Yeah, she does run away though, and ooh, nice, does cause a cancel on one of those creep tumors, but another one did get down.
But so far very normal from Scarlett. Double evolution chamber seems to be once again Zergling only with no Roach Warren coming down. We should be seeing the melee upgrades unless she's trying to play a little bit of games here, but it is going to be very normal, very traditional. And on the other side of things, MMA is posed here to take a fast third. Additional barracks before engineering base, which is the safer version here, just in case there was a spring back from Scarlett.
Yep. Well, you know, this is... Oh, never mind. I thought that was a pause for saying for some reason. Anyways, we do have him actually going up after this third base right now. If he could cause a cancel, that would be really nice, but I don't really foresee that as being too likely. And look at this. This is what I was talking about before. If Scarlett had chosen to do something too cheesy, this Reaper may have been able to spot it here and ruin her plans.
Well, the Reaper goes in, sees no lair, so he knows that it's not a fast lair for any roach speed timings or something along those lines. Does see Zergling speed complete, but so far I'd say this is very normal, and MMA didn't really pick up too much information from that, in all honesty. And these units there are the real key in finding out anything that's going on.
I tell you, she's playing pretty similar to before, really. You know, we have a good amount of speedlings out. That 1-1 is very quick once again compared to the 1-1 of MMA. So that's going to be an issue for him. And we actually have the Baneling Nest timed out to finish with the layer. So I think we're going to see that really quick Baneling speed as well.
Yeah, this is just a very normal game from Zerg in this one, because this is what you see very, very often. And MMA's playing very normal himself, I'd say here. He's just kind of on top of things with scouting, making sure he knows if there was an attack he'd have to deal with, which is not the case here. So he is able to build himself up and get to the next stage of his game. And so far, so close. I mean, it's a very normal game.
Well, that's actually what I want to see here, Apollo, as well, is what happens when this is actually a macro game where they're at the same point at the beginning of the part where we can honestly say, okay, this is a macro game. Some nice continued harassment on the edge of the creep. The Widowmine helping out against some of those Zerglings as well. The Spire is on the way, too. So this is, you know, we're going to see a lot of Mutalisk harassment as well as some drops coming up.
All right, so nervous. Played not great that game, but no turret win, says Ace of Scarlet in that previous. The Mutalisk did a lot of damage. Do they do the same damage here, Autosis?
No,
because right now, there are no turrets again in the main, the natural, and the third base. It's open.
Yeah,
but of course he doesn't need to get them down now, which makes me believe that I'd expect them to come down eventually here. But it is alarming that they may not come down.
If he doesn't make any turrets this game, Scarlett is going to have free reign with so many Mutalisks. So he has to make them. I think he will as well. He knows what Scarlett's up to at this point. He hasn't seen a single Roach.
Yeah, and he's seen the 1-1 upgrades on the Zerglings now, worth pushing forward here. And it's a good push forward. He's picked up a Queen, he's picked up a couple of Zerglings, keeping the creep spread back a little bit. And here come the turrets. I see immediately in the production tab a single one coming in. Not too sure where it is, but okay, there it is. But he does anticipate it for sure.
We also have a lot of Widow Mines starting up right now, so that's going to help out as well. There wasn't that big delay due to siege tanks and Hellbats and whatnot. And the 2-2, it's still well behind Scarlett's upgrades, but maybe a little bit better than the game before.
And well, we are going to have the first drops in this game now as they are loaded up to head towards the main base. Is somebody here going to deal the first blow, deal the first strike to their opponent? And well, luckily, could be Scarlett dealing it.
Well, it looks like she has figured out what's going on here, but those medevacs definitely going to unload before the Mutas can kill them off. In the meantime, Lings and Banes going up and getting rid of this little push.
Oh, that's really nice there by Scarlett, dealing with that excellently. And once again, Scarlett's defense.
Fantastic.
Remarkable.
Yeah. Well, now she's going to have a lot of Mutas, and it looks like she's staying pretty layer heavy again. Just constant Mutalisk production coming out, which will allow MMA to catch up in upgrades like in the previous game, but let's see what these Mutas can really get done.
I think she may morph a lot of Banelings here with the amount of gas she's got banked up and the momentum that she kind of has here, and MMA scans to see that if that's true. And Scarlett says, well, I've killed off 2 medevacs full of units, I'm doing pretty well in this game, does march forward, gets it to the SCV line. Oh, MMA is going to lose quite a few SCVs there.
And look at that, she pulls
what a
back.
merciful Baneling.
She actually pulled back right as the Widowmine burrowed as well, so Scarlett's being about as effective as you really could hope for.
I would have expected more CVs to go down there, though. Only 5. Only 5.
Huh. Well, she killed off a decent amount of units, killed some Widow Mines as well, so that's always nice.
But so far, it's just small strikes in favor of Scarlett with dealing with the drop, with, you know, killing a few units here and a couple of SCVs. Still without 2-2, but seconds away. MMA does become a little bit stronger in this game. But as I said, seconds away, he's not quite there yet.
Well, in the meantime, Scarlett is actually just continuing on this layer tech, so that's something MMA has to figure out. We do have the mutas starting to fly in, taking out that medevac.
Another drop cleaned up there by Scarlett. And Artosis, there's only a single turret here. Only a single turret.
Oh, this could be a lot of damage, but hold on. We actually have a Widow Mine coming up. Scarlett targets it down. Very well done, and only a handful of Marines, but they do force her to retreat.
All right, well, oh, nice play here. Oh, MMA, all right. That was pretty good there to move in, but Scarlett kind of trying to counterattack this.
And actually that Widow Mine doesn't get off. Really nice play there by Scarlett, targeting them down. The Zerglings coming in. Those Marines are a bit overstimmed. And with the Banelings coming in, this could be a lot of damage.
I think it's going to be a lot of damage. SCVs are dying, and so are the Marines here. As the Banelings connect to another set of Marines. Scarlett is playing absolutely fantastic here in this series. Just dealing strike after strike, killing off the 4th base. It gets cancelled, and she pulls the retreat one more time, but I think she's going to come in with another wave very shortly. With the amount of gas she's got banked up, or will have very shortly, she can start to morph additional Banelings, tech up in a different direction.
I think that you're very right there, Apollo. Look at the supply differential. About 60 supply lead right now for Scarlett. But you know what? If MMA can still figure out what's going on, maybe he can turtle this up a little bit, get his 3-3, but this Mutalisk harassment is just too strong.
40 workers have been killed in this game. Scarlett takes a 70 supply lead, pulling MMA into the main base, coming down to the 3rd now as well to get into the SCV and the Mule line too. And MMA just outplayed. GG.
Wow. Fantastic play there by Scarlett. She just wiped the floor with MMA.
Killed it, absolutely killed MMA there, very easily. 2-0, and she goes on to the winners match of this group.
That is fantastic, Apollo. Just astounding play. I want to throw this out there. How deep do you think Scarlett can actually get at this tournament?
Well, I'm pretty confident that she can advance from this group, but there's a lot of good players out there. Jadong is out there already qualified. Bomber's already qualified. Tasia was looking great. All 3 of the previous players that have gone through in first place look great. Really, really solid game so far. Yeah. But Scarlett could do well at the Season 2 finals. That's a good start for her here.
Could we have a ZVZ finals in a tournament with just 2 Zergs?
Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be pretty funny, I have to say.
And just to update you as well, Morrow did lose his first game versus Alive.
Ooh, could we have Alive go up to face Scarlett? You know, she did defeat him 3-0 when they played in WCS NA.
Scarlett has mentioned, and I've heard it as well from her teammates, that if she was to play against Alive, it is no problem at all for her. So
I believe it with play like that.
With play like that, if Alive was to beat Morrow, I think Scarlett's looking at a ticket to the round of 8 and potentially in first place as well, Artosis.
Absolutely wild. That means she could rest tomorrow morning easily, you know, come in feeling very good about her chances going forward.
Yeah, really strong performance there from Scarlett. Incredibly strong performance. And I think a lot of people are expecting her to go through. She has another Terran player to play against here in a group of 3 Terrans with just Scarlett in there. Things are looking good for the Canadian.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think Maru will come back against Alive, or is Alive going to close that one out? Because I really feel like she'll kill Alive, but Maru, I just don't know. He's so good.
He is very, very good, and I think that's the game that everybody's expecting and wants to see for the winners match.
That would be awesome.
Because Maru versus Scarlett would be an incredible game, but if Alive's the guy...
Well, you don't know. I want to see Alive versus Scarlett, so Scarlett just wipes the floor with him and goes forward. But maybe we're underestimating Alive. You know, even though she did destroy him in WCS North America, people's skill levels jump all over the place depending on how hard they're practicing.
Well, I know that Alive actually took a holiday right before coming to season 2. He wasn't meant to be
That's
here
right. He's a
originally.
replacement.
He was a replacement for Jim, so he got called out of his holiday to come and attend. But you've said it before, you know, different mindsets affect different people. A little break can do wonders.
It certainly
And
can.
that, if Alive was to be able to beat Morrow and come through and do well against Scarlett, there's the key to success. Artosis
He's won
on
big
a holiday.
It could be. So clear that mind out. Well, why don't we go ahead and see what she has to say. Chopra, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, indeed, we are here now on stage with Acer Scarlett winning her first match here at WCS Season 2 Finals. Give her a big round of applause. Yeah, give her a big hand. Great 2-0. And, of course, against her own teammate, Acer MMA. And now, you know, we just heard Apollo and Artosis going at it, trying to figure out what's going to happen in the rest of their group. But what's really important is that Scarlett got her first win. How do you feel?
I feel really good. I wasn't too confident going into the match. MMA's TVZ is actually 80% in Heart of the Storm, so I think he might be the hardest turn in the group. So.
Wow, 80%. I mean, that's a pretty high number. So you said you were a little bit worried because, you know, the stats are kind of in his favor, but you know, did that kind of influence you to prepare in any more specific ways against this matchup?
Not really. I just played normal. I thought he might all in the game 2, so I drew on Scarlett, which I don't usually do. That's
well,
pretty much it.
There you go. I mean, it worked out for you. And now we heard, you know, we have to ask. We heard Artosis and Apollo talking about, you know, who's going to move up. Alive is up 1-0 right now against Maru. Who would you prefer to meet in that matchup?
I want to play Alive.
Alive. Is there any specific reason for that?
It'll be easy.
Oh. I guess, I mean, Artosis, you were saying the same thing, so I think there's good reason to believe that. And now, you know, we already talked about you going into the game. You felt a little bit pressured because of, you know, whatnot. But in game 1, you showed great posture. You know, you seemed very composed, and, you know, you made sure that you stayed, you know, very patient until the very end, and you made all the moves you needed to. Afterwards, though, you took a little bit of a break. You know, you were telling MMA and the casters that, you know, your hands were shaking a little bit. You need to gather yourself. Was that just because you were just kind of exhilarated at the win, or what was going through your head?
No, I usually get really nervous at lands, and game 1 I did. That's why my micro with my banelings was really bad. I thought I could lose the game after I lost like 70 supply, killing almost nothing, but I was too far ahead, I guess. So I was nervous that game and didn't play my best. But game 2 I played a little bit better.
I mean, you say your baneling micro was bad, but at the very end, the game-winning moment when it mattered, you know, you pulled through, you gathered yourself. I mean, what does it take to do that in a game? You know, you said you were nervous, and you said in the beginning and the middle it wasn't the greatest, but at the end, I mean, it was clean, and you made it very clear that the game was over, and that's what brought out the GG.
I don't know, just a lot of practice in a similar situation as that. I'm just used to playing mutiling banelings against Marine, Medic, whatever.
So, so you know, game 1, nervous, etc. You get through it, you get the win. Game 2 felt a lot better then?
Yeah, I thought he was all in, as I said before, but when I saw he wasn't, I was confident, because I'm weakest against like 2X, 8 Reaper, that kind of thing. But I thought I could beat him in a macro game, and...
All right, and you know, you were saying again, you would rather meet Alive because you think it will be easy, and there's a lot of hope relying on you in this tournament, and I'm sure that may have contributed to the first match, but now you're 2-0. You start the tournament 2-0. You know, how do you feel going forward? Are you very confident, regardless whether it's Alive or Murray, are you very confident in moving out of groups?
I think so. I just hope I don't play a Protoss in the bracket stage.
Wow, already looking forward to the bracket stage. That's the confidence we want to see from Scarlett. Once again, give her a big hand. Winning 2-0 in her first match. We're going to wait for the winner's match, but while we wait, Paul, take it away.
Thank you very much, Chopra, and thank you to Acer Scarlett as well. Winner of our first game in that Group D matchup. She'll now go through to the winner's game, which will be coming up next. We'll find out who she's going to play very shortly. Keep your tweets coming, by the way, and keep all the messages on Facebook coming. Facebook.com/StarCraft, and follow StarCraft on Twitter. Make sure you include the hashtag #WCS. Now, we are at Gamescom after all for 2013, so what better way to celebrate not just one game of StarCraft 2, but also another fantastic Blizzard game. Take a look at this.
It is said, that wars are only won upon the anvil of honor.
Others believe victory requires strategy and a mastery of power.
War is deception. A game played best from the shadows. Only strength and raw power can assure total dominance.
But of course, you could forget all that and just have fun! Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.